Good morning to all of you. Myself Rohit first of Standard 8 and today I am going to discuss the topic metals and non-metals. Anything which occupies space and has mass is called metal. And we also know element is a substance which cannot be splitted up into two or more simpler substance by using chemical methods. Elements can be classified into three groups: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metals: iron, copper are metals generally because they are hard and shiny in their appearance. Non-metals: oxygen, sulfur, etc. are non-metals. Generally they are not so hard. Most of them have the dull appearance. Metalloids: some of the metals have the certain properties of metal and some of them are non-metals have the certain property of non-metals. Where does the metal and non-metal occur? Generally earth crust is the main source of metal and non-metal. Some non-metal, almost all rocks contain some metallic minerals. Those minerals found which the metals can be extracted conventionally and profitably is called ores. The few metals like sodium found in seawater, while some non-metals occur in the atmosphere like oxygen, and some ores like carbon and sulfur. Iodine is a non-metal found in seawater. The series of processes carried out that extract pure metals from their ore is called metallurgy. Some important ore are bauxite and copper. Both metals and non-metals have some physical properties. The first property is physical state. The most of the metals are solid in room temperature except mercury, which is liquid at room temperature. Other than the non-metals, which is mostly gaseous and solid in the room temperature, the bromine is the only non-metal which exists at liquid in room temperature. And the second is malleability and ductility. What is malleability and ductility? The process of drawn a metal into sheets is called malleability, and the same process of drawn into a wire is called ductility. Most of the metal have malleable and ductible except zinc, which is a brittle, and almost all non-metals are brittle in their nature. And our third is luster. The luster: almost all metals have their luster or shiny surfaces, and other hand the non-metals which are generally dull in their appearance except iodine and graphite. And our fourth is conductivity of heat. What is conductivity of heat? If the metal is able to conduct the heat, this is called a conductivity of heat. All metals are generally a good conductor of heat except bismuth, which is not a good conductor of heat. And on other hand, non-metals which do not allow heat to pass through it. And the fifth is hardness. Generally all metals are hard except mercury and sodium. And in non-metals, mostly all non-metals are soft in their appearance, soft except diamond, which is the most hardest of natural occurring substance in the earth. And the sixth is electrical conductivity. What is electrical conductivity? The conduction of electricity is called conductivity of electricity. The metal is generally a good conductor of electricity, and the non-metal is generally not so good conductor of electricity rather than graphite. And our fifth is sonority. What is sonority? The property of metal allows it to noise when it hangs to another object is called sonority. Most of the metals are sonorous, and mostly non-metals are non-sonorous. And our eighth is tensile strength. Most of the metals have high tensile strength except zinc, and most of the non-metal have low tensile strength except carbon fiber, which have a high tensile strength. And the last is melting and boiling point. The solid have generally a high boiling and melting points, and the except sodium, potassium, mercury, and gallium. And the non-metals have generally a lower boiling and melting point except diamond. And let's talk about some chemical properties of metals and non-metals. The first is reaction with oxygen. What is reaction with oxygen? Metals are generally react with oxygen to make their metal oxide. Is called reaction with oxygen. Like sodium and oxygen, when mixed together, they make sodium oxide, which is basic in nature, and non-metals make their oxide, which is acidic or neutral in their nature. Like sulfur and oxygen, when mixed together, make sulfur dioxide, which is acidic in nature. On other hand, the nitrogen, when mixed with oxygen, it make nitrogenous oxide, which is neutral in their nature. Our second is reaction with water. What is reaction with water? The property of metal which displace hydrogen and make their metal hydroxide. This is called reaction with water. Like when potassium mixed with water, it replaces hydrogen and make the potassium hydroxide. Non-metals generally do not react with water. And our third is reaction with acid or base. What is reaction with acid or base? When a metal reacts with acid or base to give output is called reaction with acid or base. The metals generally do the reaction with acid and base. Like zinc, when mixed with sulfuric acid, it makes zinc sulfate and give out hydrogen. And where the bases do not react with acid and the reaction with base is too complicated. And our fourth is displacement reaction. What is displacement reaction? When more reactive element displaces the low reactive elements, this is called a displacement reaction. Like when copper sulfate mixes with zinc, it's become zinc sulfate and the copper has been displaced. And the most of the non-metal do not do displacement reaction. And now let's talk about corrosion. What is corrosion? Corrosion is a slowly eaten up by the moist air, water of metal is called corrosion. The metal is slowly, gradually decomposes. And to reduce this, the first method is to oil, grease or paint. It will reduce the contact to the moist air. And the second is galvanization. Galvanization is the simple process of covering the metal by the covering of zinc. It will protect it from contacting the moist air, water. And the third is electroplating. Electroplating is as similar as galvanization. It is also same. It is also used to cover the layer with a metal to protect it from outer surfaces. And the fourth and the most effective is mixed with a non-metal to form alloy. Alloy is a substance which when metal and non-metal mix to enjoy their good is called a alloy. Like when carbon and iron mix, they form steel, and steel is a rustless fiber. Thank you.